Hello guys, I'm Nico from the Watch Repair Guy. Today I will show you how to service an Omega Geneve with the movement number 601. And now we start with the disassembly from the watch. We screw off the case back and then we will see the beautiful movement. In this time where I'm unscrewing the case back, I will tell you something about me. Hi, I'm Nico. I'm starting this YouTube channel right now. That's my first video. When you have any things I can do better or questions, you can comment it down below in the comment section. And when you also have questions for the movement, you can also comment it in the comment section. Now we will start with the disassembly and enjoy the video. Before you can take out the crown, you should need to release the power. You can make this over this tiny little thing by the power wheel. When you push this thing, that over this you can release the power, and you can release the power with your finger. When you push this thing, the torque is going to your finger, to the crown, and there over the crown you can release the power from the watch. And now when the power is out from the movement, you can push this tiny little thing you see in this scene, and then you can remove the stamp with the crown. And now we are taking out the actual movement from this case back. To do this, you see, you just need to screw out these two screws with this tiny little bracket. This thing holds the movement in the case back. And now when we are unscrewing these two screws, we can take it out with those brackets. And when we took it out, we can flip over the movement, and now we can see the beauty. This dial is absolutely gorgeous. I love this blue, and the condition is also perfect for this age. I think this watch is from the late 60s and early 70s. And yes, you see it. The dial and also the hands are in perfect condition for this age of watch. And now I'm putting these hands by side in a little tiny box for storage. There you don't have the problem to destroy these hands because they are very fragile. You can easily break them with your tweezers. Now I'm flipping over the movement, and in the next step I unscrew the two screws for the dial. With those two screws, the dial is held on at the movement, and those screws are very important because when you don't have it, the dial would fall out easily when you don't have these screws. Sometimes the dial is very stiff and the pins from the dial are a little bit bendy, so sometimes the dial won't come off easily, but in this case the dial took off easily from the movement. And in the next step we take out the foil. The foil is for protect the dial from the movement, that these two parts can't rub each other and destroy each other. And now I'm taking off the hour wheel. Underneath that there is the minute wheel, and you can remove this minute wheel better with I think it's canyon pivot tool or pivot canyon tool. I don't know it right, but yes, there you can undo this thing a little bit easily. And now we are taking off the bracket for the clutch, where you can set the time or winding up the watch. And now I finished the unscrewing. There you can see I took off the bracket. Underneath that there's the clutch, a spring, tiny little wheels, and yes, now I took this wheel off. Then I go to the clutch itself. It's a little bit trickier to remove that, because underneath that you see or between that there's a little tiny spring, but the spring is very stiff. It has a lot of power, and that's why the clutch is not coming off easily. Sorry guys, I said it wrong. The yoke, it's very tough to get it out. The clutch, it's underneath the yoke, and yes, it's very difficult to take this thing out because of the other parts that are over there, over the yoke. And in the next step I realized it and took off the two upper parts of the yoke, and in the next step you will see it goes very easily off. As the yoke, it goes very easily off in the next step, and also the clutch underneath that, and this tiny little wheel what is next to the clutch. In the next step you will see that I'm turning around the movement, and now I'm disassembling the underside of the movement, and now I will start with these the power wheel and this other wheel next to it. Sorry about that. You will often see my screwdriver or my finger that is focusing the camera lens. You know, it's my first video. Some mistakes can happening, and I promise you I will do it better the next videos. And yes, sometimes you see the camera cannot choose what it's focusing right now. It's the finger, it's the screw, it's my screwdriver. That's not easy for my camera sometimes. And now we took off the screw. Next step I took off the wheel that is attached to the mainspring, and now I go on the other wheel. This time it's a special type of it. Normally it's one screw for this wheel, and this screw is turned right to undo it. Normally you turn your screwdriver left to undo it, but for this case the wheel is unattached, or when you undo this wheel you need to screw it right. And now when you took off these two screws, you can put them aside, these screws, and of course the wheel also. In the next step I will undo these three big screws. These screws are holding the bridge to the upper side from the movement. Yes, and in this step I will undo it, or undo these three screws. And now I took off the last screw, and in the next step I will undo the screw on the upper part. These brackets, this bracket hold on the wheel, and on this wheel there is a tiny little stamp for the second hand. To run the second hand, there's this little tiny thing, and this thing goes from the underside to the upper part from the watch, and this thing holds the second hand on the dial. And now I will go to this other bracket. There you see some wheels, a minute wheel, an escape wheel, and an hour wheel. And now when I loosen these two screws, you see I take those out with my tweezers, and sometimes it's a little bit difficult to put it out. And yes, now I have it. In the next step I took out the bracket, and under the bracket you will see there are the wheels for the escapement, the minute wheel, the hour wheel, lots of wheels. And now I took off the bracket. Now you see all of these wheels. When you notice on these wheels there are little gears and little tooths. You can't see it right in this video, but there are tiny little tooths on the rim, on the outside from these wheels. And now we took out the little escapement wheel, and now we are taking out this big bridge. Underneath this bridge you see the powerhouse with the mainspring, and also this little wheel. Now when we took out there's only the mainspring with the housing and the balance wheel with the anchor underneath that. Now all parts are ready for the watch cleaning machine, besides the mainspring with the housing. I took or I opened the mainspring. In the next step you see it. I have a tiny little tool for it. I printed it with my 3D printer. You see it here. Um, to open it, uh, I took my finger and push one holds the plate and one other push against it, and now you see the upper part comes right up easily, and the down part it's or the spring it's in the case. And now I can take it to my cleaning machine. I can't show you that because I can't film it right now, but in the next step or in the next videos, I can show you that. You can write it down in the comments when you love to see it, how I clean my things or do other steps that I'm skipping in this video, like oiling properly. Sometimes I filmed it where I oiled it, and sometimes I didn't film it. And now you can see it. I oiled it mainspring, and now I am pressing this upper part and the down part together with this tiny little tool. It works every time perfect, and it's a very big help for me. And now I'm doing a little oiling part. I'm oiling this one ruby. When you have questions for what I use for tools or what I use for oil in my videos, you can write a comment down below in the comment section. I will answer your questions the best I can do. Feel free to ask, and yeah, I will do my best to answer your questions. And in the next step, you see I'm putting on this big bridge again. Now you can see I do these 3 screws. I'm screwing it right back in. So now we do the first one against it, the second one, you see it right now, and last but not least, the third one next to it. In the next step, you see it that I'm putting on this wheel with those 2 screws, and watch screws are always tiny, but these 2 ones are very, very tiny. You see it in the next step when I am screwing this piece on the bridge. So now you see I'm putting on these tiny little screws. Sorry about that camera movement. My camera is focusing my finger instead of the movement, but anyways, you see or you saw where I am put on one screw and the other screw I'm putting next into it, next the other screw into it. So in the next step you see that I'm oiling this plate because when you don't do it, then metal on metal is rubbing each other, and that's not good for the lasting of the watch. And yes, I do all parts where rubbing metal on metal, I do a little bit drop of oil. And when I say a little bit, it's really a little bit, because when you are doing too much oil on a piece, you have more problems than when you don't put any oil on a surface. Because when you do too much oil on any surface, it can go nasty in a short time. Then you need to service this watch not after, let's say, 5 to 10 years. Then you must do it earlier, because the watch is not properly running. So now I took the wheel in the right position, then I screw it back on again, and this wheel is attached to the mainspring. Over this wheel we release the power at the first time at the beginning in the video, and yes, this wheel holds the power and took the power to the mainspring and hold it. And in the next step you see the stamp with this little tiny gear. This stamp is for the second hand. I think you can't see it right in the video because it's very tiny, and now I put it in. What's very important for this wheel, well, for the stamp, there is a little tiny spring. You take the spring underneath that gear, because when you don't do it, I had this problem, then the second hand is not running well, because there are no pressure on its second wheel, on its second hand, and that's why it doesn't run really well. And now you see I took it right, and in the next step you see that these gears are, or that these wheels are running really well. And now when it's done, you see these wheels are running smooth and good. I put a little tiny drop of oil in the center of the stamp where the second wheel is. You see on the top here in this ruby. Sorry about the camera switch, because I didn't get these wheels in the right position. That's why I switched my working position to my normal microscope. There I could take all wheels and fitted it properly, because the bracket was very difficult actually to put on, because you can't grip it right with your tweezers. That's why it slips almost every time out my hand, and with your normal eyes I can't see it right, and that's why I switched to my microscope. Yes, and now I put a little bit of pressure in the movement, and you saw it right under here by the anchor. When I give it a little tiny push, you see it move from the left to the right, and now you can see the movement is theoretically works perfect. And now you see I set the balance wheel in the right position. That was also a little bit tricky because you should go under the upper wheel. And now wait a second, you see it in a few seconds, and it took a little bit longer. Sorry about that. It's very tricky to find the right position, but I think now it's already perfect, and it should kick in a few seconds. You see it. This type of work is sometimes very sketchy. You don't want to break the hairspring of the balance wheel. But I think it sits properly, and now, oh, beautiful. Yeah, you see it kicks right on. It runs perfectly, really well. It's not slow. It's perfect. And now I took the last screw and screw it back on the right position, and now you see the watch runs really well. I think the service was good. You see it runs, and I have a time grapher app, but I can't show you the screenshot. I forgot to put it in this video, but the watch runs really well. It has a delay of, I think it was -3 to +5 a day. I think for such an old watch, is this a really, really good number for such an old watch like this type. And now you see I put back on the clutch, the small wheel and the yoke. But in this video you see I put the yoke in the wrong direction. The yoke should with the, let's say it's the foot, with the foot it should show in the center of the watch. I put it the wrong way. It shows to the outside. That's not right. But I changed it, not on video, but in this video you see that I can't pull the stem out, and that was the problem from this, because it wasn't in the right direction. And now you see that I'm putting in this little spring. That's a little bit tricky, but I can't manage it. I took it in the right place. It's really stiff, but you know, I put the yoke in the wrong direction, and that's why I disassembly or did disassembly this whole thing. Now you see I am oiling it, but it's not regular oil that I'm putting in the mainspring or in these rubies. This is grease, I would say. It's a thick grease, and I use grease because you won't that the oil is spilling all around. That's why you need grease. It sits on its position where you put it right in. And now you see I am putting on these two upper parts, and whoops, there it goes. And yes, you see it. This holds the thing. The one part holds the other, you see here. And now I am putting in the little tiny screw you see here. It's very difficult to see it on this video. In the next I will try to zoom right in that you can see better better these screws or these little tiny screws. And yes, now I am screwing it in, and we are going to the next part. So we are almost there. You see I put on the one wheel, but the next step I put it back, because you see the cannon pinion, it won't work when there's a other wheel. That's too difficult to put it on. That's why you first put on the cannon pinion and then the other wheels. In this wise, that's very easy to put on the other wheels instead of put on the cannon pinion at last. So now these little tiny wheel, and when we set this, then we are close to the end. So now I am put on the our wheel, so it sits properly right now, you see. And the last but not least thing, I put on the last plate from the movement to hold all these wheels and clutches together, these yokes. This is the plate to hold it all in its right position. And now when we finished the screwing from these two screws, the movement itself, it's done, it's serviced, it runs well, it's good, and the movement is then ready to install in the case and for the dial. So now you see the movement itself, it's finished up, and I put on these tiny little foil to protect the dial from the movement itself. And now I'm put on the gorgeous in perfect condition dial, and you see there are these two little tiny screws, and now I am screwing these two screws in to hold on the dial in the perfect position that it can't slip away. That's why you have these tiny little two screws. And now a little close up from the dial itself. I think it's very shiny in cool blue. It's not a regular white or a gold, a champagne dial. It's a blue dial. I think from the Omega Geneve series is the blue dial the coolest one of all. I think it's the beautiest one of all. And now you see that I'm setting all hands, the hour hand, the second hand, and the minute hand. The hour and minute hand was easy, and the second hand was a little bit tricky. Now you see I case the movement up, and now I flip the case with the movement, and you see that I am putting in the stem to set the movement in the right position. And after that I put on the little ring. This ring holds the movement itself in its case, and the small screws with the brackets are also holding this movement in the case and in the right position. So now you see these tiny little brackets again, and I put them in the right direction. The little clamp is turning to the outside. The clamp holds this outer ring that I put in first, and now the movement is secure in the case. The screws are putting pressure against the outer ring, and now the movement is snug and stiff in the case when both screws and brackets are in this watch. So now is the second screw with this bracket also in this watch, and the last step to put on the beautiful case back on this watch again, and in a few seconds you will see the perfect finished watch itself. Now you see the final result. I think it's very gorgeous. It's a perfect looking watch, and thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it, and yes, when you like it, please leave a like and write a comment down below what you think about these videos. And yes, I hope you enjoy it, and maybe we see us next time. Bye.